Hello, it's Seth from Silver Soul Gaming, and welcome to the very first discussion minute, where I literally just pick a topic and I talk about it. And this could be anything relating to games, movies, or just pop culture going on at the time. I'll try and get one of these out every second week, or fortnightly. Yeah, it's literally just going to be me talking, instead of doing a scripted video. And I think the discussion videos do pretty well on this channel, and I thought I might make them into a series. And it's just going to be like a podcast. None of the topics are going to have gameplay in the background that relate to really what's going on. It's more just going to be there for people that watch it. But if you're going to listen to this, I recommend playing a game in the background, or cleaning, or whatever the fuck you want to do. It's a podcast. This is essentially what this is. It's a podcast. But there will be gameplay in the background because I don't know what the fuck else to put in the background. But this is a one-man podcast, and let's just jump into the very first episode of Discussion Minute. So today I actually wanted to talk about exclusivity relating to games, and how we have PS4 exclusive and Xbox exclusives, and how now even developers are going to exclusive launches like Epic Games and Steam. And it's quite interesting when looking into the Steam and Epic Games launches. Now there are other ones like Origins, which is literally just for EA. It's for the EA titles that they pretty much just release, but they also get released on Steam and Uplay, which is the Ubisoft version of Origins. But they aren't as relevant as to what's going on now with Steam and Epic Games. Now, Steam and Epic Games, they aren't as big compared to PlayStation and Xbox, so you've got to go out and buy another piece of hardware that costs $500, like that's a different thing that's going on there. But with Steam and Epic Games, it's more of a annoyance, we'll say, for PC people like me. I also own a console, but my PC is my other console for my Xbox and games that I don't feel like paying for, but that's not the point. But see, Epic Games was originally just for Fortnite and games that came under the Epic logo, which I think is interesting. Or Epic Games developers, sorry. But Steam is, it was broad, it has everything. It's got every title, every indie game. But Epic Games is doing something different now, where they're actually getting AAA games like Metro Exodus and other future titles that plan to release on it. I can't think of them right off the top of my head right now. But it's funny because when developers decide to say, let's put our game on Epic Games, they actually get a bigger percentage than from what Epic Games take. And I think with Steam it's something like 70-30, and with Epic Games it's like 82 and 18, I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure, but it's something like that. And Epic Games obviously make a lot more money. Well, the Epic Games don't make a lot more money, but the developers going through Epic Games make a lot more money. And this paired with a free license to use the Unreal Engine 4, which is what most games are made with now, means the company makes even more money by not spending all this money on an Unreal Engine 4 license, which is what most AAA video games are made on now, like the Batman Arkham series. Even though it hasn't been around for a while, that's what those games are made on. And from a developer standpoint of view, you make a lot more money, and I think that's pretty obvious which direction I would go if I was a CEO or big up in there person of a company that's making a game. I would go with Epic Games. And it's new, it has the Fortnite title with it, which is, again, I think something that's interesting. And everybody's playing Fortnite, so of course whoever's playing Fortnite, they're going to have some version of a Epic Games launcher. Majority of people who play Fortnite on PC, well, all people who play Fortnite on PC actually have Epic Games launcher. And they actually go on the Epic Games and they see something new that interests them, like Metro, that's something that's cool. It reaches that audience that may only just, play Fortnite, and they might see something to branch out to, like a single player game, which is, helps with the single player thing and expanding the multiplayer players, all that kind of stuff. Which is another topic I actually want to do an episode on, about single player and multiplayer, but that's not the point. That's a bit off topic. But like but then again, everybody owns Steam, but Steam is so broad that you may miss out on some things. But I think Steam also helps the small developers who only make indie little titles, like all the simulator games and that kind of stuff. Like, developers make a lot more, they get out there a bit more with Steam, but they don't make quite as much money as Epic Games, which I think is where this may be going. I think Epic Games may take over Steam eventually, because Epic Games don't take such a big cut from the company, and it's more money. It's, if I was making a game, I know which side I'd pick. Epic Games. And I get a free Unreal license. It's just better all around compared to Steam, where I don't make as much money and I have to pay for the Unreal license or whatever thing I'm using to make my game. So I think more AAA games will actually be moving to Epic Games, simply because they don't have to pay for that Unreal license and they make more money. But I think Steam will eventually just become where you go to get your indie games, and old AAA games that stop there. But because the big other AAA people like EA and Uplay, they have their own launches, so they're not going to really fuck around with Steam. And I think Steam eventually is just going to be an indie games launcher. I think that's where this is heading. But I want to talk about now PS4, or more Sony and Microsoft, and title exclusivity, where, you buy the PS4, guess what? You get to play Spider-Man and God of War. Two of the best fucking titles that came out in 2018. But if you buy an Xbox, all you've got is fucking Gears. That's it. There's been no Halo, or no good Halo, on Xbox One. And you've got Gears. That's about it. You haven't really got much else, unfortunately. For some reason they had Tomb Raider the other year, but PlayStation still got it, so it was just pointless. I nearly bought an Xbox just to play Tomb Raider. That sold me, but nobody buys an Xbox to play Gears, not that I know of. Or to play fucking Crackdown 3. God, check that video out. It's terrible. Like, PlayStation are killing it right now with exclusivity, and they are picking the right developers like Insomniac, where they go, hey, if you make a game just for PlayStation, you get lots more money. We'll pay you money just to have it on the PlayStation. And I think that's something that needs to be done, because I know people that went out and buy PlayStations just to play God of War. That granted, I also know people that went out and bought both consoles just to play Red Dead, but that's not the point. People go out and will buy these consoles, spend a whole $500 just for one $60 AAA game, which is crazy, but it works, and it's something I think that almost needs to be done, because without exclusivity there's no competition, and without no competition there's no trying to one-up each other, and there's nothing that comes out that's amazing like God of War or Spider-Man, which is a big Sony thing, so of course it was going to come out on the PlayStation. But then there's things like where it releases on one console a whole year beforehand, like Tomb Raider, and then 1 year later it comes out on the PlayStation, which I think is just stupid. It's something that doesn't need to be done. It just wastes money and time, because personally I was going to go buy an Xbox until I found out, oh, never mind, it's coming out on the PlayStation. I'll just wait a year. I can wait time instead of going out and spending $500 just to play a game 12 months early. Or not, I don't even think it was 12 months, but I wasn't going to go out and buy a $500 piece of hardware. And, that's just stupid. That doesn't need to be done. That doesn't make anyone innovate. That doesn't make anybody go, oh, we have to make this game this good just because it's releasing on Xbox the year beforehand. It doesn't work like that. Whereas I think having exclusive titles like Detroit Become Human, Spider-Man, God of War, hell, Halo, Horizon Zero Dawn, which is quite good, and so is Spider-Man, so is God of War, so is Detroit. The exclusivity titles are so good because developers are almost forced to innovate and become a lot better for competition wise, so that people go out and buy a PlayStation rather than an Xbox. Because if I didn't have money to spend on all these items, I'd be buying a PlayStation, not an Xbox. I wouldn't care about which one's more powerful. I would buy the PlayStation because it has better games. I'm not gonna lie, I also much prefer the games on the PlayStation than I have on the Xbox exclusives so far. I don't know, it's just something that Sony's doing with their games is amazing. And, I've had 10 out of 10 titles come out, like God of War and Horizon. Two of the best games I think I've ever played. And they were Sony exclusives. And it makes me happy to be a Sony fanboy. I convinced my friend to go out and buy a PlayStation just to play Horizon Zero Dawn. It's crazy how that works, but it's funny. Exclusivity is a good thing, and it's unfortunate that we do exclude it excludes people who can't afford to own both pieces of hardware. That ultimately is the negative that comes with it all. But I think people who care enough about games will buy the extra piece of hardware, or the person who cares enough about one game will watch an online playthrough. In the end, it doesn't really matter, because all in all, that person who can't afford the Xbox or the PlayStation, they're going to be able to play or at least watch the game, because we live in a wonderful age of internet. But yeah, exclusivity is one of the best things to happen to the gaming industry. I used to think very negative about it. I had a very opposite opinion, and I used to think it was stupid. I would be like, why don't all games get released on both consoles? But I realized that now it actually creates competition, which in turn creates innovation, which in turn creates better games. Now, see, something like Steam and Epic Games is stupid. It's stupid. It's just an annoyance. I hate having to load up Epic Games every time I want to play Fortnite, which I don't do really anymore. But when I used to play Fortnite, it was an inconvenience to open up Epic Games rather than just use Steam, which I already had open. And, to the casual person, this is it's a minor inconvenience. It takes an extra, minute to sometimes 5 minutes, depending on how slow your computer is, but it takes just a few extra minutes to play a game. I think that's just stupid. It doesn't need to happen. I think we just need one massive altogether thing that just launches all PC titles, like Origins and Uplay and Steam and Epic Games. They should all just be combined. Or somebody should just make a launcher that combines all of them. I don't know. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I think that Steam and Epic Games, that's stupid. That doesn't need to be exclusive to launches. From the developer standpoint, I understand they make more money through Epic Games, so they're going to go with Epic Games, especially with AAA titles and Unreal Engine. PS4 and Xbox, it's good. I actually think that's one of the better things that we need to happen. It works, it creates innovation, like I said, yada yada yada. Actually, something else I'd like to touch on is DLC exclusivity, or at least just it releasing earlier. I think that's stupid. It doesn't need to happen. It's the same with Tomb Raider. It's just an inconvenience. People who have a console aren't going to go out and buy a PlayStation for Red Dead Redemption 2 just so they can have an outfit a month early. That doesn't work. It's stupid. I don't understand it from a developer standpoint or a console owner person, Sony, Microsoft, whatever standpoint. It's fucking stupid. It just annoys people and it makes people sad that they can't have something early because they brought the wrong console when they were 14 and they didn't think that far ahead. It's stupid. That doesn't need to happen. Nintendo, that's a whole thing of itself. Nintendo, they're their own little niche of people. I think they don't really matter in this case because Nintendo do their own thing. They have their own titles. They don't. Everything that you play on Nintendo is exclusive to Nintendo pretty much, except for very few exceptions like Fortnite or Skyrim. That is a different bag of beans. Can of beans. Can of worms, whatever the fuck you want to say. It's different. They're their own little people. People who buy a Nintendo Switch to play Zelda. And I really want to play the new Zelda game, or Link's Awakening, whatever the fuck it's called. I want to play it, but I'm not going to drop $400 on a Switch. I can afford to, but I don't want to. And that's what I mean. Somebody who played... Nintendo's for the little kids and the nostalgic people like my parents and other people's parents who played Nintendo growing up. Like the 64, when it was Nintendo and Sega, not Sony and Xbox. So that's another can of worms. Nintendo is a completely different animal in this case. They don't really make innovation. They don't really have competition, which always frustrates me when people try to compare Nintendo and Xbox together because they have nothing to do with them, and it's always annoyed me for as long as I can remember starting to critically think about games and advertisement. It's always frustrated me. I think it's stupid. Nintendo being compared to Sony and Xbox is just fucking retarded. I don't like to use that word, but it's fucking stupid. And Nintendo, I wouldn't worry about them with this. People who have a Nintendo really only own a Nintendo. They don't play big AAA games like, I don't know, Horizon Zero Dawn. They don't play that kind of stuff, and because it's for little kids and 30-year-old men and women who don't really care about video games anymore, and they just want to have a bit of fun every now and again. So that's another thing in of itself. And yeah, I think that's all I've really got to say on this matter right now of April 13th, 2019 here in Australia. That's my opinion could change down the road. I could revert back to hating console exclusivity and this, that, and the other, or I could be for the launcher exclusivity. My mind can change, who would know? But yeah, this is just my opinion on the matter. It's a discussion, not a video essay. I think it's better to talk about this kind of stuff right off the top of my head. People can have it on, have it on the background, playing a game, fucking do whatever. I think it's, it's interesting. I'm sorry for my voice in this one. I'm just getting over a head cold, so, it's been a long day. Please make sure you go check out our Twitch. We have a podcast where, it's just a few people talking, whatever the fuck it is. Some of those are archived up on the YouTube channel, so you can go check those out. Make sure you like, subscribe, go check out that Crackdown 3 video. It's actually one of my favourite videos if you want to see me bitch about a game for 10 minutes or whatever it was. Make sure you go check out the latest videos that are up on our channel. Go look at our Twitter, go follow that. Follow me on Twitter, I'm sure you can find me, it'll be in the description. Look at my channel, I haven't uploaded them there for a long time, but that's up there. And yeah, just make sure you look at everything Silver Soul Games. I've really enjoyed making content for these people, so check it all out. And I'll see you guys next week for hopefully a video essay or a gameplay video. And in 2 weeks' time for another discussion. And thanks for listening and or watching, whatever the fuck you're doing. And make sure you subscribe and like and all that good shit. See ya.